Again, everyone, and welcome. You're here with Mr. T Farming Simple, and remember I said we should start or commence our math CXC class by 4 p.m. this afternoon. All right. So we have a good little way to go. So I have to start these past papers from a very early time. So it's CXC math. Alright, CXC math. So the first thing we'll be looking at, because historically and also it has been a trend, alright, or a very high concern regarding the pass rate, especially in the well, it is for the Caribbean still, but especially in here in Jamaica that I know of. Many of the time the persons they got all the other subject areas, and I mean they fell short with the math. So I want to implement a different perspective as it relates to the perception or the thought you have as it relates to your math, because the first thing you have to do is approach the math with a positive perception, right? Thinking that yes, this is easy and I will pass and I must pass and or I am going to pass it. Alright? So if you put your mind to it, because as I said initially in one of my math videos, math is really based on concept. So once you have grasped the concept and you continue to practice, then wherever you see a problem, you should be able to solve that problem. So there's a question on the board or a topic that is most frequent, or as you would have noticed that the paper itself it is set in a way that it's basically the same topics being repeated every year. So the first question on the paper is in relation to fraction. Alright? Is in relation to fraction. This video. Fraction, and in the final part of our video, we'll be looking at a CXC topic. That's a 2017 January past paper. January past paper. Alright? So the first thing, I haven't done a video with you guys regarding fraction. So first up, I want to bring you up to pace a bit on what fraction is all about. Because one of the things we're missing, some of these simple topics that we overlook, sometimes these are the topics that we need to pay more keen attention to. Alright? Because these are some, math also is based on composition. Because for instance you have A, and you have B, and you have C, and you have D, and you have E. And individually, you have a topic on, or you have topic A, topic B, topic C, and topic D, topic E. And you got a combination question, alright? With A times B, so that's AB times C, and as you know it, and you have gotten a combination question. You would have known exactly from the topic A what A is all about, topic B what B is all about, topic C, and so on. So whenever you get a combination question, you would have understood earlier what each component is all about. So please pay a keen attention, as I said before, to the individual topics. Alright? Or try to attend all classes, or if you don't, you try to attend all of my videos, my live streaming. Alright? So first, a fraction is a number that represents a part of a whole. So a fraction is a number that represents part of a whole. Alright? If I should do this scenario, I would show you something. So this is the whole. Alright? This is a whole. Alright, this is an orange. This is an entire orange. Alright? So now, if we should divide this orange into two equal parts, it would look something like this. Alright, it will look something like this. It's supposed to be an oval shape. So what each individual part we would have note. So each individual section is known as a half, or 1/2. And please note, 0.5 also is the same as half. So wherever you see 0.5 is the same as 1/2. Alright? So 0.5 is the same as a half. That's in a decimal format. Alright? So now, so this is a whole and this is half. Alright? So this part of the orange is half of the whole entire orange. Alright? So now we're moving on now to splitting up the orange in some smaller components. Alright? So we have this entire orange again. So what we'll be doing now, we'll be splitting this to 4 equal parts. Four equal parts. Alright? So and I should write this then. This is one whole, and now this is referred to as half of a whole. Or half of a whole. Alright, and this now, each section of this is known as a quarter or 1/4. Alright, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. So each section of this is known as a quarter or 1/4. Alright, so this is now 1/4. Alright, so now we understand the basics of what fraction is all about. Basics. Alright, and that is just the basics, as I said before. But you need to pay keen attention to the basic before we add. Fractions can be complicated. if you don't pay keen attention to the small topics. Alright? So many of you with live video that work is for primary. And whenever you get the actual fraction on the CXC paper, you are unable to do the primary question, because the primary question is basically a composition or a combination of different topics, subtopics. So if you don't pay keen attention to all these stuff, these little small topics that you learn at primary school, or they reverse or restructure them in a certain format so you can understand them. So whenever you are at the level to do the actual one that is on the CXC, then you won't fall short. Alright? So a proper fraction now. Remember that there is proper fraction, there is mixed fraction, and there is improper fraction. So I want to show you a proper fraction. So a proper fraction is one that has its numerator value less than the denominator. Alright, I'll explain this further to you. Pay keen attention to this in this sort of definition. Alright, less than. So for instance, and be mindful of this. The numerator is the top one and the denominator is the bottom one. Alright, so you have, so the numerator for instance is 5 and the denominator is 10. Alright, so the numerator is less than the denominator. So this now is referred to as a proper fraction. Alright, so 5 over 10 is referred to as a proper fraction. Alright, so on the other hand, I won't have to erase all of this. So I can just switch these around for the improper fraction. So 10 up here and 5 down here. Alright, and I will change this and just put more than. Alright, for more than. So that is now for an improper fraction. So an improper fraction is one that is numerator, one in which is the numerator value is more than the denominator. Alright? Improper fraction. And please pay keen attention to these. So as I said before, you name it. So there are a lot. So you can have 11 over 7, you have 6 over 3, you have 2 over you could say 1, and it goes on. So 1 is the numerator. Remember, the top one is known as the numerator. and the bottom one is known as the denominator. Alright? So the top one is known as the numerator and the bottom one is known as the denominator. Alright? So I would just like to jump into a few working outs, and we'll be learning now how to add fractions. So we'll be learning addition of fraction or adding fractions. So addition of fractions. So we have three over 5 plus 4 over 7, or 3 divided by 5. So 3 divided by 5 divided by 7. 3 divided by 5 plus 4 divided by 7. Now, the first thing to note in this sort of math, it would have looked so simple, you know, to do, but it is not very simple if you don't know how to do it. The first thing you need to identify is the LCM. The LCM, and LCM is lowest common multiple. LCM. Alright? Lowest common multiple. Any number, 5 and 7 can go into without leaving a remainder. Alright? So that is what is meant by the term LCM. Alright? So the LCM for 7 and 5. $35. Alright? So now I want you to pay a keen attention to this. We will be multiplying now. 3 by 7 and 5 by 4. Note that 3 by 7, I should have used this one, and 5 by 4. And I need you to pay keen attention to this, because if you don't note these, you will fall short, as I said before. So 3, 7. $21, and you bring down back your sign, plus 5 4s, 3 times 7, so it's 21 plus 20. Alright? So now, because this is the same 45 which, and we have the 35 here, and we add these and 20, and we get 0 and we get 4. So it's, we get 1 and we get 4. So that's how we arrive at 41 here. Now, this is this question. So this is your final answer. 41 over 35. Alright? I'll show you another one. So I'll give you a few seconds to look at this scheme there. I'll go over it again. So you have 3 over 5 and 4, 3 over 5 plus 4 over 7. And what we did earlier, we tried to find the LCM for 5 and 7, which is 35. And after which, we cross multiply, and we did exactly according to a rule, with 3 by 7 and 5 by 4, 21 and 20, and hence we arrive at 41 over the 35, which was our final answer. Alright, so looking at another one, another example. And we'll just change the addition, so we understand clearly what it is to add fractions. So now we're going to subtract. So the subtraction of fractions, subtracting fractions. SUBTRACTING, subtracting fractions. Alright. So now 7 over 8 minus 2 over 9. 7 divided by 8 minus 2 divided by 9. Alright? So remember, you know, the same principle you apply when you're adding. It's the same principle you apply when you're subtracting. So we still have to identify the actual lowest common multiple of 8 and 9. Alright? So the lowest common multiple of 8 and 9 is actually 72. 72. Alright? And we did what we'll be doing, the same principle. The same principle. Alright? So we have 7 times 9, 7 times 9 and 8 times 2. So this is 7 times 9 is what? 63. 63 minus, and you bring down back your sign, and it's 9, and 8 times 2 is 16. Alright? So you notice the concept. You notice the concept. Alright? So 63 minus 16, 47 over 72. 47 over 72. Alright? So 47 over 72 is our final answer for that one. Alright? Okay, I'll just give you a few minutes to swing that off. Alright, so Now I'll be showing you another one, and this one seems more a bit complicated, but it is not. It is very much easy to work out. So 3 over 4, 3 over 4 plus 5 over 3 minus 7 over 2. Alright? 3 over 4 plus 5 over 3 minus 7 over 2. Alright. The first thing we need to find out, or we need to identify, is this. The LCM. The LCM of 4, 3, and 2. Alright, so once we've identified the LCM of 4, 3, and 2, then we're well on our way. Alright? So first, we need to find out some factors. Alright? So 2. So you can start with 2 or 4, anyone. So 4 is 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Alright? And 3 is 3, you have 6, you have 9, 12, 16. Alright? 2, we have 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Alright? So we need to find the lowest common multiple that 4 can go into without leaving a remainder. 3 can go into without leaving a remainder. And also 2 can go into without leaving a remainder. Alright? 4, 3, and 2 can go into without leaving a remainder. More than twice. Alright? More than twice. Because once it can go into that particular number without leaving a remainder, when I say leaving a remainder, I mean, for instance, you have 3, or you have 2 divided by 3. 2 can go into 3 only once, leaving 1 remainder. Alright, so 2 can go into 3 once. So you have 3 strokes, and you have a number 2. So it can go into it, leaving 1 remainder. Alright, so that's what is meant. Now, that's what we mean when we're talking about leaving remainders. Alright? So we don't want it, for instance, now you have 2 can go into 4 twice. So you have 4 strokes there. And you have 2 can go into 4 twice. 2 times without leaving no remainder. So that's the difference. So we have factor. Alright? To be we now need to identify a way to get the denominator to be common in order for us to move on with our work. So we notice that we have, which is the lowest common multiple as well. So it doesn't have to be the just common denominator. Or you can just simply 4, 3, and 2. 4 times 3 is 12 times 2 is 24. But still, you would have to simplify this further down, which would be and also, because if you do it like this, 4 times 3 times 2, that's actually 24. And eventually, the math would be a bit longer because you would have to simplify. Alright? So the actual common denominator is 12. Have 4 can go into 12 3 times, 3 can go into 12 4 times, and 2 can go into 12 also 6 times. So that's the actual common denominator. Alright? So 12 is our common denominator in this format. So we can erase these to get some more space. So now that we have successfully identified 12, which is 12, now we know that we can simply do some working out. Alright? So we'll be multiplying this 4 just to show you that the actual denominator is 12. And to flesh this out, we're multiplying this 4 by 3. And this by 4. And this by 2. Alright? Sorry, we'll be multiplying this by 3, this by 4, and this by 6. I'll show you. So it's by this, so it's 3. And that's 6 also. Alright. So this is basically 3 times 4 is 12, 4 times 3 is 12, and 2 times 6 is 12. So now we arrive at a common denominator. Alright, so now we can simply rewrite these. Alright, so this 3 multiplying this 3, we get 9. 3 threes is 9. So 3 threes, that's 9 over 12. Remember, this is our common denominator now. We have plus 4 5 minus 42. 7 6 is 42 minus 42 over 12. So we have our common denominator. Alright? So now we can simplify this in an easier format. Alright? So 9 and 20 is actually 29 minus 42. The 29 minus 42 is actually negative 13. So this is equal to negative 13 over 12. Why it is negative 13? Because we actually, it's 29. 29 minus 42, which is taking a smaller, which is the one still larger is in front and the smaller is behind, is actually, is the answer will result in a negative. If it was 42 from 29, then because you're taking a small, that's it. That's why the answer result in a, that's why we arrive at a negative answer. So we're moving right along, we're moving down, and please remember to pay keen attention to these small topics because they take a little time, but you don't want to jump into an actual CXC problem and you don't understand these. You need definitely to understand these. Alright? So please take time out, my friends, my students, to individually go through the, even if you understand or you know how to do it, just for your CXC's sake and purpose, We're now moving on to multiplication. Alright, multiplying fractions. So that was subtraction. So now moving on to multiplying fractions. Multiplying fractions. Alright? So 3 over 5 times 7 over 2. So it's 3 over 5 multiplied by 7 over 2. Alright? So this is simple. One of the easiest fractions to do is actually when you're multiplying, because you can simply do cross multiplying. So it's simply 3 times 7 is 7 3 is 21. 21 over 10. And that's your final answer. Alright? 21 over 10. That's your final answer. Alright? Or do with a larger number, then I'll show you a different way. Alright, what if you get something like this? 24 over 27. 24 divided times 45 divided by 30. Come now, work with me now, pay keen attention. The first thing we need to do is to factor down. Alright? So we need to find some smaller numbers now that we can use now as multiples, or to multiply these out in order to break it down so we don't have to use the long way of multiplication or even a calculator to flesh these out. Alright, so you can find what two numbers you can multiply to get 24, which is 6 times 4. 6 times 4 is also 24. And you have times 9, or 24 over 9 times 3 is 27. It's 9 times 3 is 27. And also we have 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 5 is 45. And 6 times 5 gives us 30. Alright, so no, we don't need a few numbers that we don't need. We definitely need to cancel them out to get this down at a simplified form so we can understand it better. So that 5 now would have cancelled that, and this 6 would have cancelled that, and this 9 would have cancelled that 9. So the 5 cancel that 5, the 6 cancel that 6, the 9 cancel that 9, leaving us with 4 over 3. So it's simple, very simple. 4 divided by 3. So that's in its simplest form. So 20 times 45 divided by 30. Instead of going the route where you're multiplying 24 times 45 and 27 times 30 and getting a very large number to factor down and to simplify down, you can simply just find some lower factors, some lower numbers that you can easily flesh down. And then there you go. You arrive at that. Alright? So that's why Mr. T Farming Simple is here to show you the simpler way to get these done. Alright? So, moving right along, I'll show you another one. Alright? So what if we have a number or a fraction. 56 divided by 77 times 35 divided by 40. The first thing we need to do, remember in this case, when we're doing the multiplication, we don't need to find the LCM. Because you know what, I erase the LCM because we don't need to find it in this case. Alright? So, we just now need to find some numbers now that we can flesh these out and we can factor these down. Alright? So, 56, two numbers you can multiply to get 56. 7 times 8. 7 times 8 and times 7, can get 77 there, and 45, we can have 7 times 5 and 8 times 7, 5 is 35. 7 times 5, 35, and we have 8 times 5, 40. 8 times 5 is 40. Alright? So now, as you can see, we're factoring these out. Alright? So, we're going to cancel these out now. Sorry. So the 5 cancel that. And this 8 cancel this 8. This 7 also cancel this one. So all we're left with is 7 over 11. Alright? Very simple. So the final answer of 56 divided by 77 times 35 divided by 40 is 7 over 11. So that's our final answer for that. And this is a very large number. Alright, these are very much large numbers for you to work with. But if you can cancel these out and simplify very quickly, it will work out better. Alright, so we're moving on now to the division of fraction. Division of fraction, or dividing fractions. It's D-I-V-I-D-I-N-G. Dividing fractions. So the first thing, for instance, we have 8 divided by 5 and 12 divided by 7. 8 divided by 5 divided by 12 divided by 7. Alright? I did a video the other day on, I don't clearly remember if I did inversion or the inverting or flipping. Flip when flip when dividing just before multiplication. That's an actual rule. Alright? That's an actual rule. So I need to disclose it. Because I'm not sure if I did it. I don't remember. So, the rule when dividing fractions, the second fraction is flipped after you change the sign. Alright, so I'll just scratch it somewhere. So when dividing two fractions, after sign is changed, flip. second fraction. After sign is changed, flip second fraction. And note this, flip second fraction. Without the flipping of the second fraction, you won't get it. Alright, so look at this. We have 8 divided by 5. Divided by 12 divided by 7. So it's 8 divided by 5 multiplied. Because you change this sign. So the opposite division is multiplication. So you change that sign now to 12 to multiplication. Now you're going to invert or you're going to flip. So it's really 7 divided by 12. Alright? 7 divided by 12. So now we can factor these out and get it in a more simpler form. So it's actually what you can multiply to get, so it's I need some more space. Alright, so please remember because I didn't want to erase the flipping, I was trying to find another way to scratch it somewhere else, which the completion of the working out. But factoring these out now, what do normally can multiply now to get this? The actual 8 is actually 4 and 2. So it's 4 times 2 divided by 5 and 7 divided by this is 4 times 3. 4 times 3. Alright? So now we need to factor these out. 3 4 is 12 and so this cancel this. Alright, so now we have 2 7 is equal to 14 and 5 times 3 is 15. So your final answer is 14 over 15. Alright, so that's your final answer. 14 over 15 is your final answer. Alright. So your final answer is 14 over 15. So that's it for dividing fraction. So we have completed the addition of fraction, the multiplication of fraction. Initially, we had gone through what a fraction is, how to identify fraction from a whole, how to know when dividing it, what to expect and what to get. And we have covered addition of fraction, subtraction of fraction, multiplication and also division of fraction. And we covered proper and also improper fraction. Alright? So now it's time for us to look at a past paper question. Alright? Now it's time for us to look at a past paper question. And I'll be going through a few more past paper questions on fractions. Maybe with the other video, I'll just run some more fraction past paper question. These will be some actual CXC past paper question, including this one that I'll be putting on writing on the board just now. So when I'm finished with all of these, you won't have any issue or any problem with approaching fractions. Alright? So first up to do is to get this problem on the board. Alright, so we have a CXC. So we have a CXC problem. 3 and 1 over 2. 3 and 1 over 2 multiplied by 1 and 2 over 3 over 3 divided by 4 and 1 over 5. 4 and 1/5. Alright? So this, please note, my viewers, my students, for any persons who are very much interested in learning this, these are referred to as some whole numbers. Understand the big numbers? These are referred to as the whole numbers. Alright, so you need to pay keen attention to these. So I'm breaking these down. So when multiplying fractions like in a single fraction format, because you cannot work it like this, so you need to break it down. So in breaking this down now, we can arrive at 3 multiplied by 2. So you use this 3 to multiply this 2, then you add the numerator. Alright, 1 is 7 over 2. So this is 7 over 2. I'll go over this again. You have the 3.5 or 3 and 1 over 2. You need, in order to simplify it or to break it down to become 7 over 2, you multiply 3 by 2 plus 1 with it, which is 3 to 6 plus 1 is 7 over the same 2. Alright? And that now multiplied by 3 ones 3 plus 2, 5 over 3. 5 over 3. Alright? So there we have it. Alright. So because we don't have any big numbers here, we can just simply, because remember, we arrive now at a similar math format as to one that we previously did earlier. So 75 is 30, this is equal to 35 over 6. So 2, 3, 6. Alright, so that is equal to 35 over 6. So now, we're going to divide this 35 over 6 by 4 and 1/5. But we cannot use the 4 and 1/5 unless we simplify. Alright, so we need to simplify now this 4 and 1/5, which is equal to 4 times 5 is 20 and 1, 21 over 5. So this is divided by 21 over 5. Which is 4 times 5 is 20 plus 1, 21 over 5. Alright, 21 over 5. And as we can clearly see, we're basically at a spot. We just did a math similar to this. So you notice all these are different composition, are different segment of one math that is being composed. Alright, so you see it is done in the format of CXC. Alright, so you want to understand that you've completed all your different sections and all the different topics. Alright, so now we have 35 divided by 6 divided by 21 divided by 5. Remember what we have to do, the rule. So we're going to do now 35 divided by 6 multiplied by 5 divided by 21. Because according to the rule, whenever you flip, whenever you change the sign, then you have to flip the second one or the second fraction. Alright? So now we can simply factor down and find some. So what we can do, we get 35, 7 and 5. So 7 times 5 over 6 and times 5 over 7 times 3, which is 21. 7 times 3. So now we need to cancel out some stuff. We need to cancel this 7. Alright? Cancel the 7 out. And we have 5 multiplied by 5, 25, and 6 3s is 18. So that's 25 over 18. 25 over 18. And if you want to bring this down in a simpler format, you can simply just put it in a mixed fraction. If they ask you for it something looking like this, you can just simply put 1 and so that would be 1 and 7. I'll show you further over 18. 1 and 7 over 18. Because now after you've multiplied this, 1 times 18 is 18 plus 7 is 25 over 18, so which is the same as that. Alright? So your final answer could be simplified as 1 and 7 over 18. Alright? Which is a very much CXC question. Different subtopics for you to understand. And once you've completed and you have understand clearly what the terms are and the different conditions at certain intervals, then you are well on your way. You have to get it. Alright, you have to get it. So the final answer, as I said before, if you want to leave it at this, if they said that they want it as a single fraction, then you would have to leave it that way. So if they want it as a mixed fraction, then you can simplify further, which would have been this. Alright, which is this 1 and 7 over 18. So that's it for fraction topic today. And as I said before, I'll be going through a few more fractions just to ensure that you get it fully and to the T and to point, so that whenever you're on the paper, the first actual question on the paper, you don't flatter and you don't stumble and you don't stutter. So you just hit the nail on the head and you get it before we move on to the other topics, alright, on the CXC paper. Because in truth and in fact, it is very difficult for you to understand every single thing that's on the syllabus, alright, or in the actual CXC math book, in order for you to pass. Because sometimes a teacher has to do what he or she has to do, alright. So if there's a book or a syllabus to be taught, that is what actually has to be done. So there's no two way about that. So if you want to pass the exam and further you want to major in math, then do so. So if you have to get the necessary topics out of the way. So when you approach the exam, you know that, okay, functions and relations and graph, I know this. You know that I know about vectors and matrices. You know that I know about construction. You know what is simple interest, and so on. Alright, circle theorem. You know about all these stuff. So you know whenever you see a question on it, you can help yourself and you can go through and get a 1 or a 2 or even a 3. I'm not teaching for you to get a 3 though, nor a 4 nor a 5. For you to get a 1 or a 2. Alright? So even if you scrape through and get a 3, well, you have to give God thanks, because many don't get not even 5 nor 6. They get an ungraded. So if you're on this track and you want to get a 1 or a 2 or even a 3, which is still a pass, you need to subscribe to Mr. T Farming Simple. Like these videos, watch them, leave some comments so you'll be able to. Because when you send the comments to me and let me know wherever you whatever you don't know or wherever you're falling short, then it encourages me to do what? To go and do what? And work up some more math and line up some stuff and say, okay, I'll be helping this student, so I'll be preparing for this sort of video. Alright? And please subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and share. Alright? Thank you again, and see you tomorrow. I'll be doing this. Tomorrow at this time. So I'll be writing this on the board. Tomorrow is Saturday, so I know that I do respect person's religion. So tomorrow, please make it be at 6 o'clock. Alright, so tomorrow at 6. So Saturday, RDAY, at 6 p.m. sharp. So please tune in to Mr. T Farming Simple on YouTube live Saturday at 6 p.m. for more papers and working out. Alright? So have a nice weekend, and please remember to study to show thyself approved.